Hi everyone. So it's been a while since I made a video. There's a lot going on in the world right now, but basically space issues on this laptop. I'm going to try and make this one condensed. I'm going to get straight to the point. Congratulations, Taiwan. William Lai has been elected as the new president of Taiwan, succeeding Tsai Ing-wen. And this marks the third historic win for the Democratic Progressive Party. This is very significant because it sends out a clear rebuke to Beijing, and it's a victory for democracy. The KMT were the runners-up. They were trailing well behind. I don't know what the precise results were, but it was a resounding victory. When I was in Berlin in December, I read this piece in Time magazine about William Lai, and I'm impressed. I think he's an ambitious and pragmatic man, and I also think he's courageous. And I think for a part of the world like Taiwan, that is very important, as his predecessor was. It's William Lai in the piece in Time magazine. Um, of course, China's responded with fury, and they're making their usual threatening rhetoric. Wang Yi was talking about how how independence will never happen. Xi Jinping was making threats. This is typical communist bully boy tactics. And this is something that they just don't understand. The more they threaten, the more they bully, the more they think they could just subjugate the Taiwanese people, the more resolute people will be. And for all their talk of Western democracies interfering, it is Beijing that tried to interfere in this process. They tried fake news, they tried intimidation tactics, they tried it all, and it didn't work. So I think this is good news, but it could also, Beijing could lash out. I don't think that China's about to take Taiwan by force. I don't think that's about to happen. I think they're watching the situation in Ukraine and seeing how that plays out. I also think with the issue of independence, it may well be that one day that becomes no longer a situation of caution. And it may well be one day other democracies say now is the time to just recognize this, because Taiwan is de facto independent in everything but name. Anyway, now of course China regards it as a breakaway province. The basic history of it is after the very bloody Chinese Civil War, the Kuomintang, the nationalists fled to Taiwan, and under Chiang Kai-shek they sort of saw themselves as a legitimate government. Chiang was a dictator as well as Mao, but that's the past. I think particularly young Taiwanese, and I've known quite a few, they definitely do not want to be just another communist satellite, and they definitely do not see themselves as a communist province. So it may well come one day where this needs to be recognised. But for now, I think the right response of countries like the UK is to not back off in terms of congratulating Mr. Lai and his party and the Taiwanese people for democracy. I don't think we should, bow to Chinese threats in that regard. Now, I would stop short at this point of calling for, supporting any calls for independence, because that would unnecessarily aggravate Beijing. But what we should do is definitely not tolerate any threats. Apparently, the Chinese ambassador in Australia was making threats to Canberra, not for the first time, I might add. They threatened to destroy the Australian wine industry simply for Australia asking for an independent inquiry into COVID. This is China's rise. It's based on threats. It's based on constant pushing other countries around. Now, Nauru, small Pacific nation, has apparently not recognised this result, and I believe they've withdrawn relations from Taiwan. But it's very, very obvious that China's bribing them. It's a small Pacific nation, and they're very much wrapped into the Belt and Road Initiative. But anyway, I'll wrap this up. I wish Taiwan all the best for the future, and I think that they need to stand firm, and I think it's absolutely vital that other democracies support them. How to do that? Speak out. Um, don't be afraid of Chinese threats. I think I understand Sunak did congratulate Mr. Lai. That's the right thing to do. Of course, China will complain, but stopping short of supporting full independence. And Joe Biden's been very careful about that, as have successive American presidents. Um, the point here is Taiwan is a democracy. The People's Republic of China is not. And they seem to think that simply threatening people will get them on side. It's similar tactics to Russia. If they just threaten neighbours, then they'll come into the fold. The reason countries have joined NATO is precisely because of Russia's bullying and threatening behaviour. Now, the reason young Taiwanese especially have voted for this movement is because they do not want to be living in a communist state. It's that simple. I think a lot of this is paper tiger. I don't think China's about to invade because, the way Taiwan is structured, a land invasion is very difficult and it would be incredibly high casualties on both sides. I don't think they would be so stupid to do that. Although, of course, China, the People's Republic of China, is much, much bigger, it would still be an incredibly reckless move. They would attract international condemnation on a massive scale. America would intervene. Neighboring countries would, if not intervene militarily, they would definitely, create a headache for China. So I think it would be very stupid for Beijing to do that. So at the moment, I think it's hot air. Um, but I do think that we should, absolutely support this move to democracy and just wish the Taiwanese the best future. Um, and if Beijing comes out with threats against us, we should tell them to back off. It's about time that the world, the democratic world, stops pandering to Beijing's sensitivities. That's how I feel about it. So congratulations, Taiwan. Stand strong. You're not alone. And China's powerful, but it's not all powerful. And I don't think it would be so stupid as to invade Taiwan anytime soon. It may threaten to, but I don't think that will happen because there's a lot of practical problems with that. But yes, congratulations to the people of Taiwan.